They are watching us at the four corners of the world right away. So whatever utterance, comments you want to make, please review it, ensure that it doesn't bring any embarrassment either to you, to the organizer, or whatever. Please watch out the comments you are going to make. Please. The secretariat, I have Mr. Tope Akerele. He's a member of the committee, he's the clerk of the committee on due. Then Mr. Akerele Muyiwa is assisting us. I'm Adewale Adele, but let me quickly introduce another honorary member who is a member of the committee. He has just come. Honorable Idowu Odebunmi. You are welcome, sir. Johnson, I will hand over to Honorable Tope Longe. Let him make it. Okay. Please, I'm sorry. Introduction. Your name, the organization you are representing at this occasion, before we go into the business of the day.
Hello. Good morning, the chairman of the committee and distinguished member of this committee. I am Dr. Kayode Adeoye, representing Ekiti State Suburb. I'm the commissioner project there. Thank you so much.
Honorable members and distinguished guests, my name is Ajayi Isaac, Director, Admin and Supplies, Suburb.
Good morning, honorable members, distinguished guests. My name is Sunday Agumbiade, Director, Social Mobilization, Suburb.
Good morning, committees. I'm Mrs. Akinkumi Abimbola, Director of Planning, Research and Statistics, Ministry of Works.
Good morning, honorable member and invited guest. I'm Engineer Onitemitokwe Samuel, Director of Procurement, Ministry of Works.
Please let me quickly make a correction. When you are addressing the house, do it with respect. You stand up to address them. Formal setting here. That's the established protocol. When you are in this house, you stand up to address us. Everybody should please note.
Chairman and honorable members of this awesome committee, I want to say good morning and well done. I am Babashola Folorunsho, the Special Advisor and Comment, Ekiti State. Thank you very much.
Good morning, honorable distinguished guests. My name is Jiniani Adebayo, Bureau of Public Procurement.
Good morning, sirs, the chairman and honorable member. I'm Tunde Adeshoba from the Bureau of Public Procurement.
Good morning, honorable members. I'm Olalikon Ejidale, the Director General, Ekiti State Bureau of Local Content.
Good morning, honorable members. My name is Samuel Ogundari from the State Bureau of Public Procurement.
Barrister Sadeoye. We have a culture, especially whenever we are in the hallowed chamber. And the culture is that anytime you are here before honorable members, you are before the about 4 million Ekiti people that voted us here. And it's also not debatable that we are holding this position in trust for Ekiti people. Therefore, I want to assume that you do not know that when you want to speak here, even as honorable members, even as Mr. Governor, when you want to speak here, you will be upstanding because the position you are also holding it in trust for Ekiti people. But I'm also not unmindful of the fact that you may not know. Therefore, you will have to reintroduce yourself again. Thank you.
The chairman and distinguished members of the committee, I am awfully sorry. In the National Assembly, I've watched some public hearings where they take it within whatever and you see them discussing because it's not more finally a formal sitting. So I'm very, very awfully sorry if it has been said earlier before now. I'm not given to that type of issues. I always respect authority. So once again, I'm awfully sorry about what has occurred. So I'm here present. I'm Dr. Kayode Adeoye from Ekiti State Super, Commissioner Project Management. I'm sorry, sir. Thank you.
So, Barrister, my brother and my friend, thank you for doing the needful. Well, once again, permit me to welcome all of us here, honorable colleagues, fellow parliamentarians, heads of agencies and parastatals here present. I welcome you all to this auspicious occasion. First and foremost, I want to give us a background to why we are here and what we are meant to do here vis-a-vis the public hearing on the local content bill. Well, once again, my name is Honorable Tokwe and I represent the good people of Oye Constituency 1. Now, the amendment to the Ekiti State Local Content Law number 15 of 2022 is a testament to our government's commitment to promoting indigenous participation in various sectors, including procurement, labor, and services. By enacting this amendment, we aim to strengthen the framework of local content development, ensure accountability, and create opportunities for our people to contribute meaningfully to the state's progress. One of the key provisions of this amendment is the reconstitution of the Ekiti State Local Content Monitoring Board with with expanded membership to include representatives from key sectors and stakeholders. This board will play a crucial role in guiding, coordinating, and monitoring the implementation of the local content policy across various projects and contracts in the state. Furthermore, the establishment of the local content Bureau of Local Content underscores our commitment to effective administration and enforcement of local content regulations. The agency will serve as dedicated body responsible for overseeing the implementation of local content plans, evaluating compliance, and providing support to local contractors and companies. The amendment also introduces measures to prioritize indigenous contractors in the award of contracts, procurement, and hiring processes, ensuring that competent local businesses have equitable access to opportunities to growth and development. Additionally, it mandates the hiring of local labor and the utilization of locally manufactured goods and services, further stimulating economic activities within our communities. Moreover, the inclusion of provisions for corporate social responsibility underscores our holistic approach to development, emphasizing environmental sustainability, ethical practices, and community engagement by contractors and project promoters. In conclusion, I urge all of us to support this bill and also give our sincere input as it represents a significant milestone in our efforts to promote local content development and empower our people and build a more inclusive and prosperous Ekiti State. Thank you and welcome once again.
Good morning. My name is Honorable Tony Kende Adramodu, representing the good people of Ekiti Southwest Constituency 1. You are welcome to the Hallow Chamber, and you know what we are dealing with today. It's all about the local content. In my own view, I believe we should review, with all your participation, we should review the bill before we finally pass into law. There are some things in which some contractors are doing which are not too good. Some years back, I will not mention the name of that contractor. It's not from Ekiti State. He brought all his manpower, all his workers, including probably cleaners, to Ekiti. At the end of the day, he was paid, and he left with all his workers without a single beneficiary from Ekiti State. Those are the things we want to iron out, and to know the percentage in which the Ekiti people should derive. We have a lot of competent hands in Ekiti. We have a lot of good contractors that can handle some projects. So it is through this our interaction, your advice that will be embedded into the bill before it is being passed to law. And in fact, I can. We have a Bureau of Public Procurement here, which and officials from Ministry of Works, they are here. I'm sure we need your input. We have to save our local contractors here. we have to save our people. Money generated from this place, at least, let us have part of the money. Let us believe that part of the money will remain here, so that our people will not, at the end of the day, our people will not be crying that there is no money in the community. And I pray that at the end of the day, we come out with a good bill that will be passed to law. Thank you very much.
Hello. Good morning. Let me also welcome you to this program. It is about our local contractors. And everybody will agree with me that what my colleagues just said is the truth of what is happening in our society, most especially in Ekiti State. Some people categorize us to be inferior in contracting and every other thing. But if we can hold ourselves, then we can get best thing from here. I just want to advise that we should be free to say whatever we want to say. Help us to create good bill that will serve every one of us. Let us work together and make this bill a very nice bill that will serve Ekiti for the betterment of everybody. I just want to welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. Once again, I would want to give us a little background. Why we have invited you to come and have an input in this. Of course, it's our traditional culture in the parliament to always do public hearings like before we pass laws like this, that bills like this are very important into law. Now, local content law, we will all agree that we have seen instances in times past when contractors and businessmen will come to our state and come and do business and go without even giving our people the opportunity to even participate or even contribute, even when we have skilled laborers here. This has led to capital flight, undoubtedly. It has led to capital flight. And we are here because we are supposed to listen to what the people are saying and also escalate it to the government so that the government can also do the needful. It's our desire to always ensure that we help our people to grow. There are companies in Ekiti that are also skilled, that has competent hands, they also have requisite knowledge to do various projects. So one of the reasons why we are here is to also try and enforce our laws so that all these contractors that comes to Ekiti to come and work, we want to ensure that there's minimal capital flight. There's very minimal capital flight. As a matter of fact, the only areas where we expect that there will be capital flight is areas where there are no skilled laborers in Ekiti. Just like my colleague, the chairman on the House Committee on Works, I've just said here, we have seen instances where contractors will come and they will refuse to even hire cleaners and even drivers. Some of them will come with their drivers and cleaners. It is also noteworthy to recall that Mr. Governor at some point made a pronouncement that he will prioritize the hiring of local labor, prioritize the employment of Ekiti people, prioritize giving of contracts to skilled executive contractors. And I remember that at some point when he wanted to buy vehicles for, I think NUT, he actually told education secretaries, he actually told all the vehicle sellers, the auto dealers in Ekiti, to bring the vehicles. None of the vehicles that Mr. Governor bought for education secretaries in Ekiti State was procured outside of Ekiti State, meaning that we can also empower people to grow. And that's one of the reasons why we have said we need to conduct a substantial amount can also revolve around our people. The person that is doing a driver, the person that is doing a cleaner, the one that is doing caterer will also benefit from all these contracts. So there must be legislation to also ensure that these people, because they said where there is no law, there is no crime, there is no offense. You know, so but when we make legislation, when we enhance legislations that can empower people, then any contractor that falls short or that errs will be sanctioned. So we need to think together. The government of Governor Abiodun Abayomi Oyebanji is not one that will say, okay, let me go and decide unilaterally what I think is right. You know, and that's why he has put down this committee to also invite you, stakeholders in the Ekiti project, that we can think together and talk together and look at the best way to ensure that whatever money is appropriated for projects in Ekiti, that our people also benefit from it. Thank you once again, and God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is open to you to make your contributions, your observations, your submissions. If there's any written submission you want to submit or any comment at this junction, you are at liberty to make it, please.
I think presently I am aware that the percentage, the local content percentage is 30%. Yeah. Or is it more than that? Or it's not up to 30%. You have your. Please, the floor is open. It's just a question.
Thanks so much, sir, Mr. Chairman. I believe it depends on the rules and laws of each of the institutions and MDA in really regulating what they want to make as the percentage. I say I believe the local content may not necessarily be a sacrosanct thing for each of the MDAs. It depends on the rules, regulations, and the law guiding that MDA that would have formed what they will make as the local content. Like in SUBEB now, we have what is being introduced to us from UBEC. Since we operate under the Universal Basic Education for Universality in the nation. So I believe if they are making this one now, as this thing is, as the board is to be established now, we can indicate it there that this is what we are advising to be the percentage of local.
Presently, what is the percentage?
No, with us?
Yes.
With us in SUBEB.
Yes.
With us in SUBEB, they made it 90% or even above. They want everything to be from your local place in SUBEB. And that is what we are operating in SUBEB. But you know SUBEB is operating under UBEC, a federal institution. So but this one now, the local content now, we are making this one under the state law and to be operated within the state, sir. So we don't have, I don't think we have the parent body covering to set up right now. That is why whatever we make here could be a sacrosanct law for the state and be operative as such. Thank you, sir.
once again, good work that you are doing. I can see as the DGV, I want to say thank you once again. Well, I want to thank you because of this public hearing that you have come. You may not know how much it has taken us to bring up this law, but they will always commend the quality of the law when finally believe this review has the Ministry of Justice, because I have at the bill, look at the law of the state BBP, and I can see deviation in so many areas. Let's start nomenclature of the accounting officer, that here we see executive secretary, and what we have for grant is director general. And you know that the nomenclature called executive secretary exists in the state system. It is not an aberration for it to happen also in service. There should be reason. Review this before we finalize it. They will be able to handshake this bill with the bill, the BBP, and thank you very much. That is my contribution.
The distinguished chairman and members of the committee, sir, and all other colleagues that are here. I want to align myself with the last speaker, sir. My thought before was that maybe one will need to go through the laws and be pointing out the areas of variance, particularly with the law we are up. But to help ourselves, maybe I can use that word holistically. I believe, as I be align myself with the last speaker, that is a way of maybe giving the law to the Ministry of Justice to review first. Then, before we now present for public hearing. Because like in some of the sections here, I can see when we are even talking about the membership, we are not including the representative of the Ministry of Justice. And they are very, very germane when we are going to talk about contract or contracting. Because they will be there to be impediments that are holding the issue of contract. What will make it a very valid contract so that we will not be running foul of the law. And for us in SUBEB, what I want to say is that mostly we have our laws in Ekiti State, though we're still thinking about amending it. But again, most of our laws here are being subjected to our parent body, that is UBEC. But I know the Ministry of Justice are fast, both in UBEC law, national laws, and that of the state. They will look at where there is issue of variance in one other law or the other. They will be able to amend for us, fine-tune for us, before we can now say better on all other things that are there. But when we talk about local content, I know SUBEB will not be found maybe wanting in operating anything of local content. We now operate this body so that we not be in vow of some of the federal law and some of the agency laws, like the last speaker said about that of Bureau of Public Procurement. I know there will be some other variants in that place. And incidentally, the Minister of Justice will be able to annex all these things to be able to make it a very good law before any other little amendment that might be coming around to come and suggest. That is my own submission, sir. Thanks so much, sir.
Mr. Okay, Mr. Ijidale.
Thank you, Honorable Member of the Committee and the Chairman and the guest. I just want to probably call your attention to something, that this law is already in existence before now. And I wouldn't know, maybe every law that need to be reviewed has to probably go through the Assembly. Yeah, through the Ministry of Justice, pardon me. I also want to probably make a comment on the percentage that can be given to local content in all the government, maybe procurement, service. So may I call your attention to Executive Order of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, duly signed by His Excellency Professor Yemi Osinbajo in 2017, whereby there was an executive order ordering that all need to be procured in uniform, footwear, food and beverages, furnitures, and motor vehicle, pharmaceutical, construction material, and information and communication technology should be procured locally in Nigeria. I think we are trying to replicate the same thing here. It is alarming the rate of which contractors are making money from Ekiti and taking it to another state. You will all agree with me. Just recently had a meeting with artisans and private sectors. Sir, these people are really aggrieved. They cannot find Ekiti state to be conducive for them to do business, whereby knitters, those people that make cardigans, shoemaker, and even the bag makers, as little as that, they are not selling, and yet they know how to do it. The Honorable Sir, I wish I have a copy, a copy of a bag being made by one of these people. I have to empower them that day. They'll go and make some bags. Let's propose to the state government. If they can say it, and we look for investor in this, to produce it locally and put it to our schools. Willingly, the students should buy. This will create more jobs and development for our state. On this note, sir, I don't want to put sentiments, but I'll be so handicapped to work. All I'm able to do in the office is to register because I understand the depth of the law of local content. The local content law, the existing one, does not even recognize my position as the DG. Hence, we cannot enforce. Otherwise, we begin to get unnecessary court cases all over everywhere. I just want to humbly appeal to this committee that what needs to be done within the cover of the law and should be done as soon as possible so that this law can be able to be granted in no time, and our people can begin to feel the democracy they be craving for. Our environment needs to be conducive for our people. Our people need to work here. The number of contractors that are out there, I will give you an example. I'm so sorry for taking your time. The number of contractors out there, in billions every year. There's no year that Ekiti State will not execute projects worth several billions. maybe an average of 50, 100 billion. Let's take for instance. And you will agree with me that the workforce alone within those projects are quite about 10%, if not more than minimum. If that 10% in return, that's about maybe about 10 billion naira return back to our economy, it will definitely make a lot of difference. Please, I just want to beg us, local content need to be empowered as soon as possible so that we can take the enforcement to every nook and cranny. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Olalekan, right? Ijidare. Thank you so much. That's well noted.
Distinguished Chairman, members of the committee clerk, and invited stakeholders. Ogunlade Olushola is my name, from the Ministry of Local Government Affairs. Mr. Governor, at different fora, has emphasized the importance of local content while meeting with the chairman of local government. And he has given this on how they need to go about it in ensuring that there is no capital flight, which is the objective of this establishment of this board, local content. I just want to draw attention of members, distinguished members, to the composition of the board. It is, while going through this in our own office, we discovered in aligning our own program with what the board is doing, we feel at the local government that Ministry of Local Government is a critical stakeholder when it comes to the local content board, so that whatever is being done will have that opportunity of cascading it down at the local government level. So we observe that as part of this board, Ministry of Local Government is key to enable us to cascade what is being done at the local government so that we can be in line with of Mr. Governor on local content. Thank you very much.
Thank you, honorable members. Samuel Ogundari from the Bureau of Public Procurement. I want to appreciate this opportunity to come and speak on the floor of the House on this very important law. I have two things to just point out. I'm looking at section 13. I also look at section 14. On the section 13, if I'm permitted to read out, sir. Prior to issuing of adverts or prequalification notifications to prospective bidder, the client shall submit to the board the following for review and approval: the scope of the work, copy of prequalification notification, any other documents that may be prescribed by the board from time to time. Upon assessment of the documentation received by the board shall advise the client within 5 days of the expected contributions of the project to the locality. So I'm thinking that in the wisdom of this Alo Chamber, looking at point number 1 and point number 2 of that section, I mean subsection 1 and 2, I think it would be good to review the word approval in section 1. Judging from the section 2 of that, I mean the subsection 2 of that section, I think the intention is to provide an advice according to section 2 after reviewing those documents. So I think it would be good if the word approval is expunged from that section 1, because approval in itself is is stronger, if I'm to say. So I think the best is that they should review to ensure compliance with the local content law rather than providing approval on the advertisement, which might contradict the provisions of the public procurement law. Because according to the public procurement law, it's only the Bureau of Public Procurement that is expected to vet advertisement before it goes out to ensure that it complies with all the requirements for advertisement. So I want to appeal to the Honorable House to please look into this, review the word approval to review and ensure compliance with the local content law. The second, sir, will be section number 14. Section number 14, subsection 1. If I am permitted to read, sir. It shall be mandatory for every government agency to submit list of awarded contracts to the board within 1 month of approval, except, and there are other conditions that are stated there. Sir, I want to say that now, judging from subsection 2 also, there is also a requirement that there should be provision of sufficient information with the notification. Sir, list of awarded contract is different from notification of award. So what I mean is, if you are providing a list of awarded contract, it simply means that you just make a list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, had received so contract. But it's different from notification of award, which spell out the content of the award itself. So I'm thinking, sir, that maybe we can review that word list of awarded contracts and replace with contract agreements, which actually speaks to the contract. And it will now be easier for whoever is reviewing it at the local content office to have an understanding of what the contract stands for and how well have they been able to comply with the local content law. Sir, that's all I want to say for now. Thank you.
Law is a bit understandable. That area being mentioned of. What first thing I will call your attention to is that law can only provide a guide, and the operation and activities of every organization will only expand on the existing provided law. Immediately I was appointed the DG of that local content. What we did was that we put up a template that can make the law to be more explicit and more effective during the execution. The Honorable Chairman, the Bureau of Local Content had a template in place, which entails the registration of the contractors, the artisans, the private sectors, skilled and unskilled. All these categories are well spelled out in the registration, and their database are being kept properly. After which the contractor gets to bid for a contract, the Bureau will issue an authorization certificate. This enables them to bid for contracts. All these are still in line with the existing law without even the review. The authorization certificate being given to you to bid can only ensure you to participate in the bidding process, after which notification must have been given to you that you are a successful bidder. Before you can be granted that award letter, a compliance certificate is necessary to be obtained from the Bureau so that the contractor can be able to sign a memorandum according to the law and according to the expected patronage of our indigenous subcontractor, artisans, supplier, and skills. This is prerequisite to get award letter. Sir, in between these two processes, may I mention to you that it will be very, very awkward if you are to participate in enforcement of delivery of service, and yet you are not part of the decision maker that bets the success of such contracts. I think that is where the approval of local content comes in between. And thereafter, to enforce, on every site, we put up a template that the bureau shall visit the contract site. We have written to all the MDAs to provide us list of their ongoing contracts. Then we can visit and begin to ensure that our people are being used properly. And against the norms, whereby you get to a site and somebody will say, these people are the Ekitiketes. That's the major reason why we have templates. And we're not saying that whoever is not a contractor who has some people that he has been using before should not use them. Let them come to the office and register. Then we present to them officially. With this, we can be able to take record of development and the effectiveness of local content in a time frame. Chairman, sir, if our people can follow this template to execute or to patronize local content in terms of resources, in terms of skills, in terms of materials, and so on, then the local content office will have the record of all that has happened within a time specified. Sir, not only do we go to the sites just to enforce, we also feel a kind of feedback that will give you a stage certification, a stage compliance certification certificate. We make sure that in every project, the local content issue out 2 compliance stages. These stages will be useful for any returning contractor to see your performance on how you comply with our local content in the previous job given to you. If we can follow this template, everybody will sit tight and make use of our people. And sir, there's a common saying around that the Kititi people, they don't know how to do what. We may agree to an extent. There's no how, even the professional bodies, the engineers, if you don't go for retraining and having experience in the site, you might discover that your 10 years, 15 years experience in school might eventually be nothing. Our people don't have that experience, sir. One of the templates we put in place is that we engage in periodic training. This training might be maybe quarterly or twice a year to start with. It has been approved in our work plan that we should train our people. And this contractor, as one of their CSR, community social responsibility, should be contributor to that training with their engineers, expertise, and even with their resources. They should train our people on how to do it. This training is not just come-up training of a seminar. It has to be a practical training, minimum of 2 weeks, after which best hand at a particular ratio, maybe 50 out of 300, should be absorbed by them to be used on our existing contract site. If they can be used for the period of another 1 month and they are being paid, I can tell you some skills we emanated from such a process. And these people will become trainer for the next set of trainee. These are the plans we have on ground, sir. And with this, the contractors will have no choice than to find our people to use as time goes on. This I can say for now, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ejidale. Before we continue, let me say that I agree with you in total that we should always ensure that all these contractors that comes here, we should enforce them. We should make legislations available. We're able to enforce them to ensure that our people also benefit maximally from their project sites. A case in point to corroborate what I've just said. In 2006, I was a consultant to the government of Ekiti State then. I'm a geologist, okay? So what I do is water engineering. So I was a consultant to the government of Ekiti State. So the government sent me to South Africa to go and purchase drilling rigs for the state. 3 drilling rigs. We went to purchase from Jameson in South Africa. So when the guys that brought the rig here, I went there with the Commissioner for Water Resources of blessed memory to go and inspect. So we inspected. So when the guys were coming, so they brought all manner of artisans. They brought drillers, they brought people that are carrying pipes, they got people that are carrying drilling bits, they got people that are supposed to carry the mud pump, all manner of these people. They brought them here, you know. And I walk up to Mr. Governor and say, "Oga, this one cannot work. We have people here that can carry pipes, people that can drill here, even if they don't know how to operate that particular machine." The machine was a Hotline 310 drilling rig, Atlas Copco and compressor. I said, even if we do not have people here that can operate, they can train our people. They can train them, and also they will be proficient in operating those equipment. And that was what happened. At some point, they started training our people, because if we allow them to continue to bring artisans, drillers, people that are carrying rods, people that are digging mud pits, you know, how would our people benefit? Eventually, we ensure that they trained our people in the operations of those particular equipment, and our people became very proficient. They became very good in operating all the equipment. So I want to agree with you, Mr. Ejidale, that we should make laws available that will enforce these people to ensure that even in areas where our people doesn't have skill, they can train them over a particular period of time to become proficient in the use of those equipment. Thank you, Mr. Ejidale.
Thank you, Mr. Ejidale. It's like I will have a question for you. When you were explaining things to us, you spoke about compliance certificate issuance. I want to ask, will this process not be duplicating of Bureau of Public Procurement if you are issuing a certificate of compliance? And I'm aware Bureau of Public Procurement are also doing the same thing. Are we duplicating the jobs there? I just want to explain more.
The chairman, distinguished honorable colleagues, clerk, invited guests. I want to talk DG. I would like to let you know some of the reasons why this content, why we pick more interest in it. The basic reason is for a body to be in charge of making sure that the contractor comply with the law of Ekiti State, and also to make sure that whoever violated the law should be sanctioned, not by giving them. To me, it will be a repetition of effort EPP, because in Bureau of Public Procurement, some of those contractors has passed through some process, and after passing through those processes, going back to you to get certificates of compliance before they can execute their project is just giving them another stress or repetition of effort while in the same government. To me, the agency is just to make sure that they comply, not by giving them another certificate, is by comply. If they not comply, you can only commend them that fine you, so that they can use it as a profile to build either here or in any other state or wherever. But for them to collect certificate before, no, to me is a repetition of effort. And yes, also the DG, let me quickly talk on some of we received some complaints from the public, and we just want to know maybe there is another law that back it up, which is the rate for registration and certificates. You issue some circular to the public, forwarded to us here, that okay, if you are within so rates to register is so fees and the likes. While we understand that okay, in the course of registration and issuing of certificates, there might be a little office things that you will incur. To us, there is no law that backed the money you are collecting for registration and issuing of certificates. There is no law, and we are not aware in the case of assembly. So hearing in the public, and we are able to defend it, is a shock to us, even when the law is still undergoing an amendment to make sure that we change executive secretary to director general, which we've already done. Someone raised the DG, SA, BPP raised the point of which we've already done that, sir, here in our home by amending some area where the secretary appeared. We've already changed it to director general and areas. But to me, while we are still working on it, since just in the public that people should come and register our knowledge without any law that back it up, what is stated in the existing law is just for them to come and register. I think there is no penalty or fees attached to the existing law.
The chairman and honorable members, sir. Because we are privileged to have been in the system, we can always provide information that will enable the House of Assembly to make a very robust, law that will be void of questions. And in case there is a litigation, it will not be as if the state is contradicting itself. Because when a law is being crafted, it is crafted around institution, not around individual. I have, Mr. Ejidale has been to my office, and we have talked, and I know he has the zeal, he has the passion. But when this law is being crafted, it must not be crafted around his zeal. It's not crafted about his passion, because another person is a commonwealth. Another person is coming to occupy this office tomorrow that may not have the same zeal, that may not have the same attitude. That is the reason why it is good for us to look very well before we leave. Information came to ESCO about what my honorable member just spoke, that there has been outcry, that there is double registration and whatever. And the House is aware there is a committee on the ease of doing business, the World Bank SEBA. Ekiti State is working earnestly to be able to access huge funds from SEBA. And what SEBA is all about is to coordinate some of these agencies and then make sure that the ease of doing business in Ekiti State is simplified. And that is the reason why in crafting this law, there is a committee that ESCO has just considered with the Honorable Commissioner as the chairman. I got Mr. Ejidale informed yesterday because we are supposed to have a meeting today by 3 to reconcile some of the issues around ease of doing business. And so I still want to appeal to the House that we should make sure that this law, even though the creation and the establishment of the Agency for Local Content is not questionable. It's not questionable. It's not capital letter. We need it. It is required. But then in doing it, we must take into consideration what we call international best practices. You will notice that the Bureau of Procurement, the BBP law, had been crafted for many years when we were having sifters in year 2020 to 2023. The law undergo a lot of surgeries before we could arrive at where we are today. So that is the reason why I'm saying that in crafting this law, one, it must not be built around personality. It must be built around the institution. And so many considerations must be taken into point, particularly the ease of doing business that we're already addressing in Ekiti State. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. DG, Director General, Bureau of Public Procurement. Thank you so much. Your points are well noted. One of the reasons why we have also called for this public hearing is also to ensure that whatever we are doing is also in alignment with global best practice, so that we also do not err or run foul of the law. Thank you so much. Your points are well noted. Mr. Ajidale, before we now
Thank you.
this side.
I appreciate the DG and the SA public procurement on his observation. May I just simply remind us that Bureau of Public Procurement is a kind of law.
Can you please speak louder?
Okay, sir. Public procurement is a law that ordinarily should have been in every ministry, if I'm not mistaken, whereby you use your discretion or you use a particular parameter according to the law to ensure that our people are patronized. There is no doubt. I once agreed that public procurement, Bureau of Local Content, I defined, I'm sorry, sir. Local content ordinarily should be part of BBP. Ordinarily. Yes. Because I once visited the BBP when the acting DG Engineer Niyi was there. When I came on board, what I did was I visited to know what they are doing. And I told them, having procured local content, sir, is just an extraction from the existing law of BBP, I believe. You agree with me that the regulatory body to a particular project could be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Environmental has their fee into projects. They have their policy, what they call their law in their practice, in their certification, sir. You get environmental impact assessment before a project can be done. This is what we are talking about, sir. Honorable Idowu. That is exactly what I'm trying to introduce, sir. It's not a double practice. It's not a double taxation. Now, sir, we can mellow down on the issue of fee. I want to answer that aspect. Let me first take you on a note. That is the creation of Bureau of Local Content. I personally, at my office, has never taken 1,000 naira from government for running of that office. And neither do we access any public fund, legally or illegally, to that office. All paid in that office goes directly to the government cover through budget code we receive from budget. Revenue code we receive from budget. I did not ask my member and my team or neither her office to receive 1 naira from anybody. So it's for public interest. But will you agree with me, sir, that if we leave everybody to register for local content, the government will have themselves to be blamed in no time. Everybody wants to access contracts. And by the time they come, we cannot say you can't get out, you get out. So we have to streamline with a policy One of which is registration. We have to set up criteria. Like what we do, we didn't take a kobo from artisans who we know his duty is just to get patronized. I'm a carpenter. All we're asking for them is that go and pay 2,000 to the government cover so that you can get your certificates once for life, which is not bad. Let them be responsible in a way, sir. The law is not saying we should take money, just like many other ministry. The law does not permit them to take money. And when this money is being required, just to have a kind of moderation, it's not too much. The 2,000 naira is a lifetime certificate issued to them. You agree with me that even printing, I've used about 22 bundles of papers in my office without taking a kobo. Yesterday, I bought a printer, a brand new printer in the name of the Bureau of Local Content without taking a kobo, without writing to the government for anything. I've met with contractors in a 4 hours meeting without taking for 1 naira from the government. All we're just saying is that let us be encouraged by the law. Our people need to understand this, sir. Public procurement is I expect this kind of it in a way because you are extracting a law from existing law. Simple. Creating local content, if we all agree that it is essential, then it's local content will affect a lot of people. Just like you have this separation from Sports Commission now, from Ministry of Sport, Youth and Sport, there will be separation. So all we need to do is to separate. We cannot rely totally on the existing law of BPP to judge or to downplay what local content is. If that law needs to be amended, sir, to be able to switch or to make local content a standout, it has to be. Thank God, all we are trying to do is to see how government can be running effectively to accommodate the interests of the public. My submission, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Ajiyale. Yes. Let's come to this side. Sorry, before you continue, you have to introduce yourself again.
Samuel Olakunle Ogunlana is my name. I'm representing the young indigenous contractor in Ekiti State. Here with me is my chairman. I'm the secretary of the Young Indigenous Contractor in Ekiti. I want to appreciate the concept of this public hearing vis-a-vis the motive behind the enactment of the law. I pray that we have a success along the line in this process. Local content and everything that surrounds the law is one of those things that we, indigenous contractor, has been crafting for over time. I don't want to waste much of our time. I've been to DG's office severally, and we have met on several occasions, and I've been very convinced that he's passionate enough to deliver the interests of indigenous contractors. This is Ekiti State. I was born and brought up in Ekiti. And I was trained in and out of Ekiti. I've been in the business of construction for some period of time. And I can say emphatically, over time, Ekiti has been operating a porous construction system. I'm sorry if I'm going to be offending anybody, but I want to be very blunt. This is my state. Ekiti has been a place where you just see contractors working without any traces of their address. You don't even know whom they are. You don't even know where they come from. I want to apologize again if I'm going to hurt anybody for what I'm saying, but I want to be sincere that the local content law is what we are saying that we may contain or probably checkmate that menace. Some of us are indigenous of Ekiti. We are experts in one way or the other in some areas of construction. Some of us are expertise that are useful in other places. Some years that I don't want to be specifically mentioning of the year, the only work available for indigenous of Ekiti, let me say indigenous contractors, are the subcontract projects from Federal Ministry of Works and probably some World Bank projects and SUBEP. Most of the works that come from Ekiti state government lands in the big men's hands and being executed by strangers that we don't know. By enacting the local content law, this will protect the interests of Ekiti indigenes and will make the contract execution to be exclusive indigeneity of the execution. Somebody in my hometown will be part of the project they are doing in the town. Somebody from anywhere in Ekiti will be part of what the project is all about. That is the interest we are pushing on. We don't want to talk much, I'm not a grammarian, but what we're doing at all is worth doing well. I raise my case. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Well, good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the House of Assembly here seated, and virtually everyone invited for this very important meeting. My name is Dotun Ajao. I stand here this afternoon to represent excuse me, Ekiti State Young Indigenous Contractor. On the first premise, I want to appreciate His Excellency Governor Biodun Oyebanji for deeming it fit to fulfill some of his electioneering promises. Because by the grace of God, some of us followed him wholeheartedly. And we are glad today that our governor is a promise keeper. I also want to appreciate the leadership of this honorable assembly for taking it out of your critical and busy schedule to grant us this privilege to have this public hearing. Also, at the same time, I want to appreciate the DG local content. And of course, our guest seated the DG public procurement. It's indeed a great opportunity for me to be part of this process because it's a crack team. Now, I have two major concerns here, and I'm glad that partly some of them have been addressed. One, there is need for total separation of powers from the public procurement and the local content. It is obvious that it is long overdue that we need local content in Ekiti State. And I want to tell you, it's not new. By the grace of God, we have handled projects across states, even in the core north, where you believe that they just do things on pari passu, on padi arrangement. But I will tell you that they give bulk of their projects, contracts have been awarded to their indigenes. And of course, when you talk about local content does not say this person must be from Ekiti State. But the person must have a presence in Ekiti State. By the grace of God, I am from Osun State, but I have my all and all in Ekiti State. This little me standing before you, what I've given back to this society, is beyond what you can imagine. All right? But it's so sad that what we get, and you see our expertise in our chosen field of operations, we discover that we operate in the best standard, the global practice that you can think of anywhere in the world. And most of these people that comes and take our capital flight away, what we can offer, they don't even have the capacity to deliver it. And sometimes when we get to some of these projects, we feel bad. All right, recently, a contractor got a job for rehabilitation of Afar Road. And when people saw the name of the contractor, Dortmund, a lot of people called me. They said, our governor has fulfilled his word. He gave the job to people that we know. Say, Oga Dotun, please give us the best in that particular road. And I told him, I'm sorry, I am not the one. My name is Dortmund, not Dortmund. And so you can imagine what that means to our people. And of course, whatever we are saying here today echoes in heaven. The concept local content, if you look at it in income, there's what is called circular flow of income. If I get a job today, my wife, my family reside in this place. So whatever I make from this job is for Ekiti State development. All right, we can't expect government to do everything for us. There's what is called CSR. You did mention it. Some of us are willing to give back to a society that has made us. But in a nutshell, I want a total clarification from the Office of the Bureau of Public Procurement
and that of the local content. Now, one of my major worries, I did raise it in the last meeting, is that as a contractor, I have a lot of obligations to fulfill at the Office of the Bureau of Public Procurement, and this comes with a lot of money. Now, repeating same at local content, to me, I'm not saying it's bad, paying stipends, all right? Or I don't know how the two offices will strike a balance. Take, for instance, if the registrations for both local content and the public procurement fee should be around probably 1 million naira, just to cite an example, they should be able to strike a balance that the contractors will not pay beyond 1 million. Because some of these things that we paid for at DG, Public Procurement Office, we are still repeating almost the same thing at the local content. Please let us look inward before enacting this law. Thank you very much.
Dr. Ajao. Madam.
The chairman of the committees and all invited guests. This issue of local content, I'm from Ministry of Works. We have been practicing it for a long time, long years.
What's your name, ma?
Mrs. Akikumi, Director of Planning. But the implementation was not there. Monitoring was not there. Even if we are giving contractors letters of awards, we used to spell it out underneath it that 30% local content, but just spell out. No monitoring, no compliance. I'm so happy when I heard that the governor created this bureau of local content, in which we really needed it in Ekiti State. Because all these contractors, they don't comply with the local content. But in this law, I have not seen the limit or extent that you want the contractors to comply with this law. Maybe out of their workforce, you want Ekiti indigenes to be 20% or 10% or 30%. It's not really well spelled out. And what are the conditions of this appointment to maybe Ekiti people in the company or with the contractor? Because if you said 30% local content, they might just took all those labors, those people add labors, they put it on Ekiti indigenes, and their enjoyment posts, they put it on other indigenes. And so Ekiti will just be their laborer, and they will just cash out their billions and leave. So I still want you to work on that, so that the Ekiti indigenes too, they will be happy if any contract is being pulled out of Ekiti for especially under Ministry of Works on constructions. And I know if this compliance and monitoring is well handled, it will benefit Ekiti indigenes very, very much, because all these contracts, our road contracts, used to cut across all those villages. Even if you can't travel to Ado Ekiti, you can get employed in your town, in your village. So that is just my view. Thank you.
Honorable members and distinguished invited guests, my name is Ajayi Isaac from SUBEP. Looking at the objectives of the board, which are to ensure that indigenous contractors are given priority when awarding state contracts. 2, to ensure that non-indigenous contractors carry out or implement their contracts by ensuring the employment of local laborers and training. I'm building on what the last speaker has just said. I think what is needed is enforcement. I'm of the opinion that the institution of a body like this should be a task force so that the enforcement can be enhanced. Thank you.
Thank you. So, well, let's take all the. Let's take this man first. Barrister, please. We'll come back to you.
Permit me to stand on the sitting protocol. My name is Engineer Niyi Adebayo from Bureau of Public Procurement. When we look at this important topic before us, we see that it's very, very important to have this local content. We are not disputing that, but the execution matters to us. We have something we call a bifurcation. Even though you want to take anything or any part of the law, I think it's going to be an agreement. There must be an agreement. Like DG local content said, that is a minute part of the law in the Bureau of Public Procurement. What we are saying is this, like my DG said and the doctor there said the other time, that they need to let this law be in conformity with the existing ones. Probably would they take it to the Ministry of Justice, look at it and look at other laws, so that there will be no conflicts between the law. So we should try as much as possible to see that we have a lot of, like the duplication of, even though we are working toward the same goals, but this is Ekiti. There is no way we can be, when I'm pursuing this particular way, then the other one will come to pursue this same thing. As it's going to be a duplication. We should try as much as possible to see that the Ministry of Justice is able to see into this law and see what they can do so that there will be no conflict. Take for instance, we have the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry. When they issue out the business premises certificate, and they have already submitted it, then the local content also will still want to do the same thing. I think they are in Ekiti. I asked Mr. Jedale the other time that, please, can you just give me the perfect definition or the definition of this indigenous contractor? But the time he defined it, yes, and I agree with him totally that it is true. But all these people, they take the register with the trade, investment and industry, but you are taking the same thing. In the Bureau of Public Procurement, we have already have all this thing that whenever they want to register with us, we have that. They are in Ekiti because they have already have their premises within Ekiti. You are not going back to other area to register or to say that you are living in Ekiti, in as much as we have what you have. Then another one, the fund of the Bureau of Local Content, that is section AC there. I think we need to, when they say other sources, the other sources should be well defined so that they don't just usurp the power of another existing MDA. So 8C. Then the remuneration of the board. I think you can't be a judge on your own case. This, I've seen it there that they want to, the board will determine the remuneration for the board. I think they should be able to do something about that. One is Section 9. I think this is part of what we need to take to the Ministry of Justice so that they look at it and see what they can do. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. So, okay, before we give the honorable members the privilege to also respond here, I would allow one or two people to also comment again. Barrister Adeoye first, and then after you, we have the other man there. Barrister Adeoye first.
Thanks so much, the distinguished chairman and committee members. Maybe I can be permitted to say certain things. That is, it is always good to make laws. The execution of the law and the interpretation that is going to be given to the law at the end of the day matters most. Why the legislators make laws, the people who make law, the set of institutions that make law more are the judges in the court. That is where they are going to subject the law to whatever interpretation they want to give to it. And whatever they now say finally will now come and be the law. The establishment of a local content board is very, very laudable. Very, 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 very. Particularly for human development, so also capital development in the state. But again, like I've been observed by the DGBPP earlier on, which I supported, and maybe at the end of the day, maybe that will be considered. The law needs to go through legal minds, people who are into interpretations of law and others, particularly through the Ministry of Justice, as you can see. Because if you have a lot of conflicts in the law, when conflicts are happening, what will remain is an observance of the law in breach. It will be observed in breach. What I'm saying is that the law will not be able to go through anything, because when there is litigation, they will just throw the paper away. The judge can just throw the paper away, but there is no law. And this is why, since we have gotten MDAs, the ministries, the departments, and the agencies of inequity, and every one of them have gotten their own laws, I think it's very necessary to subject this law to all the laws of those ministries and harness everything to make it in conformity for us to be able to have an observance of this law properly, and for us to be able to drive the objective of what we are yearning towards in Ekiti State. This is what I want to reiterate again. That definitely, because if it does well, we are doing public hearing and the law is very laudable, we need it immediately, and we pass it like that, and conflict starts and issues get to litigations. It will be very funny. We are putting the state in another jeopardy of cases in court, where the state will be spending millions to litigate in court than to have been able to annex that and get a better thing done here, which would have been able to foster the objectivity of the creation. The objectivity of creation is very, very laudable, but I think we need to do it step by step in subjecting it to many legal minds that are appropriate, so that conflict will be very minimal. If you cannot erase it totally, because it's necessary, because those are the things people want to play on. Contractor will want to play on it at the end of the day. When you say, come and do this, and they have done it here, done it there, they say, we have done it there. Then you start again. Before you know it, they say they go to a lawyer. They get it into the court. And at the end of the day, the government might now be looking at it, thinking, why this? We are still at the stage to get a neater legislation, I believe. That's my submission, sir. Thank you.
Okay, after that one, then we can round up.
Thank you, sir. Let me stand on the existing protocol. I'm Engineer Onitemi Samuel from the Ministry of Works. When the DGPPP was talking the other time, sir, he mentioned the issue of doing business with ease in Ekiti State. Prior to this time, Bureau of Public Procurement was registering contractor as the law empower them. Also, Ministry of Works, they are registering their own contractor too. But it got to a time that the physical responsibility asked the Ministry of Works to stop their registration. That is a kind of double registration in Ekiti State. If law has a power and agency of Ekiti State to be registering contractor, that it will be an infraction or a double tax on the neck of the contractor for Ministry of Works to be registering contractor. And as a result of that, Ministry of Works has to suspend their own registration for BPP that is empowered by law. Another thing, presently, for any payment to be made for any contractor in Ekiti State, there are certificates that has to be issued. We have performance certificates from Economy Planning and Budget Ministry. There's a certificate of payment from Bureau of Public Procurement. And if we have another certificate, as good as local content is very important, we have to be very careful of the implementation so that there won't be a clog on the issue of getting things done for government. Because if we have several certificates to be issued, there could be an issue. We should just find a way of harmonizing everything. Like the Group of Public Procurement, before they issue certificate of registration, they consider every other MDAs in Ekiti State. They request for TCC, Tax Clearance Certificate from Board of Internal Revenue. They collect certificate of business registration, premises registration from Trade Investment Ministry. They collect former commerce. If we put all these things together, we just say for us to be able to allow the local content law to stay, we have to, work holistically, look at every area, not only a BPP, consider other parastatals that are issued certificates, and we work together in such a way there won't be clogged on the ease of doing government business in the Ekiti State. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. That's Ministry of Works person. Okay, so before I come back to the honorable members, I will give Mr. Gidale 1 minute. 1 minute to just 1 minute to address us.
Before any contractor can register to work with Ekiti State government, primarily it does not matter how local you are, you must register with CAC. If you don't register with CAC, no matter how, when we get to the law, if there is a litigation case, it will be null and void. And the state government will be held responsible. One of our brothers was talking the other time about registration, sir. The Bureau of Public Procurement has a portal where all the contractors, the list of all the contractors are there. And this portal was populated after a wider consultation. The World Bank sponsored it. So if any contractor in the Ekiti State is not in that portal, it is either is too local to relate with CAC, because if you are not registered with CAC, there is no way we can recognize your paper. So I am just saying this so that the DG local contest also will know that populating the portal, I know he knows the website. And if anybody wants to access that portal, it's free for all of us. You will notice that when the case of our former governor came up at EFCC or whatever, why Ekiti State was absorbed was this portal was assessed by EFCC, and they vetted all the contracts. Because as the contracts are awarded, we are providing information on the portal. They assessed all the information, and that was why they could not do much. They could not even do anything. They could not hold us responsible, because the BBP was absolutely in compliance with all the set standards. And now that the local content is coming, because we call it local, does not mean that it is above the law. It does not matter what is our passion. It must be in compliance with the law.
Thank you, Mr. Oga from the BPP. Mr. Ejidale, we'll give you 1 minute to address us again.
Thank you. Thank you, the Honorable Chairman. Don't let us deviate from the major issue. There's nobody in this house that will tell me that local content should not be stand out. We have seen that, sir. Honorable Chairman, I am not imposing this office on you, but I want you to know that registration is not the major cost why we are here. And the money is not coming to my pocket. I can jettison it. That's not an issue. But why Bureau of Public Procurement should take it, you need to defend that. There is no law that permits the Bureau of Local Content to charge at its own cost. And if that should be, then you have to defend it. You have to define it, sir. I mentioned this to His Excellency when I wanted to start. I wrote him personally, and he said, see the chairman of BRR, that's Bureau of Internal Revenue. I went to him on the instruction of Mr. Governor, what do we do about avoiding double taxation? He said, sit down. He called on the chairman, on the director of planning. They both looked into it. They said Bureau of Local Public Procurement does not have a revenue code for what they are generating against the law of single treasury. Now, he said the only way we can go about it is to call the chairman on board. Let us harmonize. So this is not the major point right here before you, Honorable Chairman. Now, we called a meeting that lasted about 2 hours, sir, between Bureau of Public Procurement and local content. And what we agreed upon was that if you are taking 1 million naira at your hand, Bureau of Public Procurement and local content has to survive. And there is no how you give account of what you don't have. We are public local content. I can't be acting on the instruction of BPP registration. My contractor needs to be registered with me before I can deal on them. We have to verify their addresses, which was one of those things that we all know. Majority of people doing business with Ekiti State now, duly registered with BPP. They don't have a physical address here, sir. Majority of them. We have started verification, and it will surprise you that a lot of offices doesn't have a physical address. We are not asking for this money to go around.
Mr. Ejidale.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Sorry, I'm almost done, sir. So, in nutshell, don't let us negate the purpose of this office. It's not about registration. Registration is just to give account, to be able to identify who we are dealing with. And of course, if we make it so affordable, free of charge, a lot of people will come here, and by the time they come, they are not getting job, or probably we cannot satisfy how many contracts is government pushing out yearly compared to the people that will register. This will become a bad image for the government out there. If we need to recommend, sir, local content, there's no doubt, is part of procurement. If we are separating it, let us separate their registration as well. Let them be outstanding. What we agreed on at the BPP, and wonder why that is still coming up in some quarters.
Thank you, Mr. Ejidale. Thank you,
yes.
Thank you.
So what we agreed on.
Your point is well noted.
Yes, sir. What we agreed on, we have an agreement written that reduce your price by 60%. Yes, sir. And we furnish the house. Reduce the agreement by 60%. Let it accommodate registration at local content of 40%, so that people don't have fresh bill to pay. And I think some people have been to the office, the local indigenous contractor. They can witness this change. It has been there. But if the house now say Bureau of Local Content should not take money for registration, don't let us deviate from the main business. That shouldn't distract us. Let us go to the main business, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Ejidale. Your point is also very well noted. I'm sure that one thing that is not debatable is the fact that we are all working towards the same goal, to one, ensure that there is compliance with our laws, also ensure that some of these contractors also put our people to work, local contractors, services, men, material, even machine, they put them to work. So it's not debatable that we are working towards the same goal. Yes, there might be areas of interest, the division of interest, or clash of interest. But most definitely, we will resolve this also to support Mr. Governor in his drive to ensure that people get proximal and appreciable benefit from whoever is taking any job from here. So all points have been well noted. We will also look at the legal implications of, because we are a government that is guided by law. Anything we do here is guided by law. So we'll also seek legal interpretations of all that have been said here. I can assure you that everything that has been said here is well noted down. Before we take any position to Mr. Governor on this, we will also seek legal interpretation of everything we have done here. A case in point, a couple of weeks ago, you will discover that if you go to Bank Road here, I don't know whether it's Exma or some people, they are beginning to lock people's wheels. They put some yellow something to lock people's wheels. So people cried here to us, yeah, that they are locking their wheels. And we said, okay, fine, let us invite the Exma people that are locking their wheels. They said, okay, yes, fine. It is good for us to ensure that we sanitize our roads. We also must ensure that people comply with the laws of the land. But we cannot, two wrongs cannot make a right. Have you created designated parking spaces for them? Have you put signs there that you must not park there? So in our attempt to enforce our law, we also should not run foul of the law. I remember that Mr. Speaker here said the other day that in our attempt to ensure that we enforce the law, we should also be mindful not to run short of the law. We also must not err. So before you can start locking people's wheels and imposing fines on them, you also must have been seen to have done the needful. Have you created designated parking spaces for them? Have you put signs there for them not to park? So we have told them that let us sit down and also draft laws around that before you can start charging. They said the Ministry of Environment is charging people up to 200. Is the environment charging people up to 200, 300, 400, 500,000 because you park on the road? So we said no, that cannot be, because we are also here to ensure that we protect the people. Okay, so all what we are doing here is also to work together in harmony and ensure that we come out with robust legislation, okay, that will guide our actions. So all points have been well noted, and we will also seek legal interpretations before we come out with any position to the government. Thank you.
The chairman of the committee, distinguished honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, my question will go to the DG Bureau of Local Content. I'm happy the way you have presented your case, but I want to ask question on one important aspect of it. This issue of local content, the law of local content, the bill that we are talking about, see, is an important one. And if amended and well executed, there is no way it will not bring support to the people of Ekiti land. And the era of saying we don't know how things are going, especially in the area of contract in Ekiti, will definitely be a thing of the past. People will know what is taking place as far as contract is awarded. But I want to ask a question from you, sir. According to you, you have been moving from one site to another, knowing what the contractor, the artisans, the contractors are using, whether they are actually from Ekiti State or they are mainly from somewhere else. Have you recorded any hindrance in the course of discharging your duties? That is my question.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that question, honorable member of the committee. Well, like I said earlier, this law review is actually holding us down. A couple of months ago in January, yes, precisely January, we were at Cranebrook site along Array, And all I went to do is to present our assistants, the bricklayer, carpenter. At least that is a startup of any project, to them. One of the few challenges I had, number one, they have their stipulated pay, which they are not making available to us. And they said it's a national price. Maybe they are trying to shortchange their people so that they cannot get the job and be frustrated out. We don't know. They are not making that available to me. I've called on them to meetings. Some of the indigenous contractors were there. Out of the ongoing project, we have 17 ongoing projects. We only saw 5 people that attended that meeting. I know what I can do as the Director General of the local content. These are meetings that is very crucial to the development of our state and our people. All these are one of the challenges. They're going about inspection. We have to talk about security. The office doesn't have any security. Our lives are prone to danger. I have to personally wrote through my personal company to the IG last 2 weeks, paying about 1.2 million naira for this purpose. Everybody that knows me knows that I don't use escorts. Now I bought Helios for myself, and I paid the IG. I paid to the police authority to approve me a handman, which they have given approval, so that I can use them for this purpose. Because I don't want to be in a place whereby I will be idle. Yeah, there's no doubt. My self-interest or passion might be seen to be overshadowing the public interest. It's not. I'm only keen about the template we put down in this new office now. We all agree that Nigeria of today is as a result of a system that was in place. And that's why the most corrupted, someone here will still go to oversee and compose himself. So let us leave a template that we can be able to live after us. It's not about me. It's about that office to be effective. And once the law is being fought now, and people grow in it, to amend it's going to be very difficult. Yes, it's going to be very difficult. I want to plead once again that the law of local content should be carefully crafted so that it can be independent on its own against every existing law, so that it can work effectively. My submission, sir.
Chairman, distinguished honorable colleagues, clerk, member. I just want to let us know something here, that we are not debating here. History will be kind to us, because history will not forget 2 people in life. The one whom, through his productive life, turned a village to a city, and the one whom, through his non-productive life, turned a city to a village. Whatever we are doing here, we are all partners in progress towards shared prosperity of Mr. Governor. So critically talking to ourselves is just to look at how we are going to have a robust agencies, MDAs, functioning without any double jeopardy or contravening issue or activities or whatsoever in whatever form. And with this, to me, we need to find a lasting solution to some issue. There are many MDAs that they are not revenue generated MDAs. And they are working, they are functioning perfectly well. So this, the DG local content, nobody is accusing you of maybe you are collecting it to your pocket. We've worked together before, and I know anything comes about money, you are not money conscious. Your own is to get things done and for you to be effective in any area you find yourself. You know we've worked together before. And I know, when I know that you are not paying, I even got the soft code where they are paying into. That's government cover. So it's not about attacking you that you are collecting it to your pocket. No. It's just that, our people outside there, what people will be saying, and no matter the amount, once they register with it, 4 years ago, they did not get, all of them cannot get contracts. Let's be sincere to ourselves. All the local contractor cannot have access to one or the other throughout even the 8 years of Mr. Governor. So what we are just trying to let us know is some people, their mindset is once they've registered with you, you start receiving calls, messages. They will be using people that they know, penetrating that I've registered, I paid so amount of money, and it's not about the money, but it's about what people will be. The expectation of our people outside there is that they've paid, and so I just want you to know that there is difference between, there are some agencies that are shadow with responsibility of generating revenue, while some are enforcement or some other areas. So to me, we don't need to deviate from the purpose of establishing this agency, which is to make sure that our people, that resources a little bit domicile in Nigeria, in Ekiti State. So with that, the purpose of creating it is to make sure that there are some body. We don't know, stating how it's going to be funded. They have stated the subvention and some other fund. It is now left for the agency to look at how they are going to have subvention and other area for them optimally. So to me, using your fund, I know you very well that in many ways you might have incurred your personal money in all those things, but please let us look at it that it's not all MDs that must generate revenue. There are some that they are not meant to generate revenue, but enforcement to make sure that the purpose of it, we got it. And in the course of that, if anybody violates, you have the right to go public with that such person. Thereby either stop them, or you send a letter to us that's also contractor, then we stop them, or we will not allow them in getting other contracts. So thank you very much.
Thank you, honorable members. Let me once again appreciate all the heads of agencies here. I want to extend our warm regards to you for honoring the invitation of the House of Assembly to attend this all-important public hearing on this matter that in our culture in the House of Assembly we refer to as a matter of urgent public importance. We thank you for coming to attend, and we also thank you for a robust contribution, your robust intellectual contribution to this all-important public hearing. I want to assure you that all the points have been well noted and well taken down, and most importantly, we are also going to let you know that we will weigh the legal implications of whatever we do before we come out with a position on this. And permit me to also inform you that everything we have done here since morning, Mr. Speaker is far away from Ekiti. He's watching us live. He's watching us live. Right here, he has started with me and said, okay, this is very good that he's watching us live. And I can also tell you for a fact, most likely Mr. Governor will be watching us live, so that you be aware that what we are doing here is not limited to members of the House of Assembly alone. Whatever you are seeing on the screen there is live. It's live streaming. So I want to once again thank you for coming. Also to appreciate members of this committee, Honorable Idowu Odebumi, Honorable Jacob Awoni, Chairman House Committee on Education, Honorable Femi Fatunla, Chairman House Committee on BPP, Honorable Adaramodu, Tony Adaramodu, that's the Chairman House Committee on Works, the strongest committee in this House of Assembly, and Oga Adeleye, the clerks, and all our clerks there, we appreciate you. And to the woman, the only woman in the house, from Ministry of Works, thank you for coming. Thank you so much. Before we wrap up again, I want to thank everybody for attending this all-important occasion. The media crew, we thank you, Mr. Tony Olaluwoye and the crew. We thank you for also responding to our invitation to come and cover this all important public hearing. Thank you so much once again, and God bless you. So before we go, I think it is very important for us to share the grace in fellowship. Thank you so much. 1, 2, go. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, the sweet fellowship of the Holy Spirit be and abide with us now and forevermore. Amen. Thank you so much.